Hey FlossTube, it's Kat from Cross Stitch Chaos. Welcome back to my FlossTube. I believe this is number 8. I literally was just looking at my video. Yes, number 8. I just celebrated my 1-year anniversary in January of doing FlossTube, so considering this is number 8, that tells you how good I am at keeping up on doing them monthly. My last FlossTube, I was hoping to get one done before I started doing all of my traveling. That obviously didn't happen. And then over the next 3 months, I believe, out of 10 weeks, I was at home for 3 of them total. I think that's it. I remember there was a period of 8 weeks where I was gone for 5 weeks. So I was never home. So when would I have time to make a FlossTube video? And then I stayed at Kings Island during Winterfest. So I was working again at Kings Island for November and December. And then right after January, I got sick. Like literally, like I think it was January 3rd. I ended up with a stomach flu. And I have been sick for 3.5 weeks now. I'm so tired of it. I'm so over it. I've had a cold. It's just been a cold. It's just been a cold that will not go away. And it's been going on, my eyes watering because allergies. It has been going on for, I'm not even kidding, 3.5 weeks now. And I'm so over it. And you can still kind of hear it's going on. I feel so much better than I did. But you can probably still tell my voice isn't quite right because I've still got it going on over here. And there might be a big loud bang here in a minute when my cat knocks over or something. Because she's rubbing her head on it. I'm just foreseeing it going that way. Oh, she's leaving now. She knows she knows she's about to get in trouble. So speaking of cats and loud noises, if you hear loud bangs in the background, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I got 3 little terrors back in November who were at the time 8-week-old kittens. 3 of them. Started out as 1, then it became 2, and then somehow a 3rd. I now have 5 cats. The kittens are 4 months old, about to be 5 months old. Actually, no, they are 5 months old now. Their names are Hunter, Oscar, and Loki. Hunter and Oscar are litter mates, and they're an orange tabby and a gray tabby respectively. And Loki is solid black. He's 3 days older. He came from a different source. The first 2 came from my sister-in-law who works at a vet clinic. She knew I was looking for a kitten because we lost my dog back in September and my house was feeling too empty with just the 2 cats. So I told her I wanted a kitten. And she was like, well, what kind of kitten do you want? I said, I either want an orange kitten or a black kitten. And so she messaged me while I was in Florida for a work conference. Hey, we got this litter of kittens in. They're 2 months old. One of them's orange. Do you want him? And I was like, yes. Because it had to be a boy. It had to be a boy because this one would not tolerate another girl in the house. She is the queen of the roost. And so she sent me pictures of him and he was adorable and she took him home. And then she messages me the next day and she's like, Hunter doesn't do well by himself. So I went back and got another kitten. And we're going to keep the other kitten. We as in her family, we're going to keep the other kitten. And so she sent me pictures of these 2 adorable little kittens, these little boys cuddling. Well, the next day, my best friend who worked at PetSmart as a groomer sent me a video on Snapchat of this little black kitten and his litter mate, his little sister, a black and white kitten. And they were also about 8 weeks old. And she was talking about how sweet they were, and the little girl kitten had just been returned because it didn't get along, the family's dog didn't get along, you know, they were afraid the dog was going to hurt it and things like that. And so I messaged her back and I was like, I want the black one because I knew that Hunter was going to need, he wasn't named at the time, but we decided to name him Hunter. We knew that Hunter was going to need a playmate because he got so lonely when he didn't have Oscar. And my nephew's named Oscar, by the way, so his name doesn't really have any meaning. And so Stephanie's like, wait, are you serious? I was like, yeah, I want the black one because I'm getting another kitten and kittens do best in pairs. And she's like, okay. Well, my friend that was down in Florida with me, Dustin, saw the video of the little black and white little girl, and he was getting ready to move into an apartment with his boyfriend, and he was like, I want his sister. So they adopted, they were named Peter Pan and Wendy. We renamed them. Mine is Loki. The little boy is Loki. And his is Cinderella, but they just call her Cinder. And then when I got home, my brother had put his foot down and said, we are not getting another cat. So when Stacy brought Hunter over, she brought Oscar with him because I didn't have Loki yet. Loki was coming the next day. Or in 2 days. He was coming in 2 days. And she's like, well, I'm just going to leave Oscar here overnight. I'll come pick him up on my way to work tomorrow and take him back to the office so that he can get adopted. Really? We knew where that one was going. I couldn't separate the two of them. Candy, she bonked my camera out of alignment. That's a first. Anyway. She always does this when I'm filming a video. She wants nothing to do with me all day. She's been mad at me ever since I brought these kittens home, and now I'm starting a video. She's like, Mom, pay attention to me. I'm going to be in your way. So, anyway, so she brings Hunter and Oscar over. The boys have named this cat. He is extremely bonded with his brother. The first thing that they do after, you know, wrestling around on the floor for 2 hours and wearing themselves out is curl up in a little ball of kitten and fall asleep, yeah. My husband didn't want another cat. He didn't really want one kitten. He definitely didn't want 2 kittens, and he for sure didn't want 3 kittens, and then 3 kittens appeared in his house, and the kitten was not going anywhere. Stop moving my camera! Candace! So, anyway, Oscar stayed. And then Loki came. And at first it was always funny because, like, the 2 brothers were always real close, and then Loki was kind of like, you'd see the 3 of them sleeping and it'd be like, Hunter, Oscar, Loki. And then it started being like, Hunter, Oscar, Loki. And now it's Hunter, Oscar, Loki. They're inseparable. Those boys love each other. All 3 of them. They're brothers now. Loki is a super, 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 super cuddler. He likes to lay in my face. I post pictures on my Instagram story all the time of Loki laying in my face. Because he's gotten huge too. Oh my god, he's almost as big as Candy. He's so big for a little 4-month-old kitten. 5-month-old. I keep forgetting they're 5 months old now. 5-month-old kitten. And he's humongous. And if he comes over here, I'll pick him up and show him to you. But right now they're all running around the house like maniacs. Oh, here's Hunter. Here we go. Here's a kitten. Here's Hunter. Here's the one that started it all. This is a little demon. Yeah, where are you going? Okay, bye. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. He doesn't know what he's doing either. Bye. Candy doesn't like the kittens. She hates them. Normal tolerates them, but ooh, Candy can't stand them. She's like, what are these things in my house? So anyway, I've now been talking for like, stop! I've been talking for like 10 minutes about my cats. It's fine. If you guys want to hear about my trip to England, I talked extensively about it in my Stitch With Me that I did a few weeks ago. I did like a whole rundown of what we did every day and what order, and I'm trying to not touch my face, but my nose itches. I'm sorry. And Candy's not helping. Every time I go back and rewatch my videos, I'm like, stop touching your face. It's gross. And I touch my face constantly, but my nose itches because I'm sick. And my cat's rubbing on me, and it's, you know, whatever. Anyway, so Candy quit knocking. Now she's gonna knock my drink over, and good lord, I'm gonna throw her off the table in a second. All right. So anyway, you guys have probably noticed my pictures have changed a little bit in the background. There's a new one right there of a campfire in the woods. Candy. All right, you need to stop wandering on the table. No, I said stop wandering on the table. My phone is covered in cat hair now because my phone is lying on the table. She's just wandering back and forth on it. Okay, so to start off with, I went to my LNS's winter retreat 3 weeks ago. God, when was that? It was right before I got sick. I came home from Situate and like the next day was sick. But I made it through Stitch Away without being sick, which is nice. All right, you're done. Sorry, Candy. So I'm gonna show you some of the stuff that came from Stitch Away first. Or at least I'm gonna try. Yeah, we can do that. We can do this in a different order. I apparently stacked things wrong. So, of course, they had a freebie table, so I picked up some stuff from it. And then they also gave us some stuff. If you watch Pam and Steph, Buckeye Stitcher, Cupcake Stitcher, there's a whole slew of people that were there that are well-known floss tubers. They talked a lot about Stitch Away. It is sponsored by Keepsakes. I'm so sorry about touching my nose. It itches. I'm probably gonna have to pause this video to blow my nose in a few minutes. Stitch Away is at a local state park. It's in the lodge there, and it's a 4-day weekend. I believe it's technically 3 days. It's technically Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday morning. But I got there Wednesday night. So I was there for 5 days. And then we got snowed in. And if you watch Nicole, Buckeye Stitches, she tells the story about how they always want to get snowed in at Stitch Away. This is my first time at Stitch Away, but they always want to get snowed in at Stitch Away. And then we actually did. And now everybody's over it because we all got stuck there. She got stuck in the snow and had to get rescued, and it took like hours for them to get her car unstuck because it was in like really deep snow. She was not in a ditch, unlike everybody at Stitch Away thought. Like, it went around Stitch Away the next morning when everybody was trying to figure out if we could get out. That Preble County was under a level 3 snow emergency, which means nobody's supposed to be on the road unless it's an emergency. The state park sits on the county line between Butler County and Preble County. For us to get out, we had to go through Preble County for like 2 miles. And we had heard that Nicole had slid off in a ditch in Preble County. And we were like, oh my god, she's gonna get a ticket for being out in this weather, and oh my lord, she was not in a ditch. Hashtag not in a ditch. She was not in a ditch. She was on the road. There was just a snowdrift. And she got stuck in it. But they did get her out. It just took several hours, and I believe there was a missed flight involved. And hey, there's Loki. Come here, you. He's like, what? So this is the giganticness that is Loki. Look how big he is. It's a 5-month-old kitten, guys. He's huge, and he is solid. And he's sweet. Alright. Yeah, I know. I stole you just to love on you. Now you can go. Bye. Oscar's down here, but I'm not reaching for him because I don't know what, he's playing in my 24-pack. Like, he's in the box with the cans, and he's playing with them. Kittens. Anyway, so when it started getting out that, okay, so first off, I was like, okay, if Nicole's in a ditch, I'm not going anywhere, because I was originally supposed to take my friend Denise to the airport. And I was borrowing my grandma's car, because my husband's car's been broken for like 6 months now. So we're borrowing my grandma's car, which is brand new. She's got it in June. And I was like, I'm not risking my grandma's car on these roads. So I decided to stay. And Elizabeth had already renewed her, room for a day. And I was like, hey, I'll split it with you. She's like, okay. So I stayed Sunday night also. And I left Monday morning. Monday, noon-ish. So I ended up staying Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, into Monday. 6 days of stitching. I got a lot done. Oh my god, I got so much done. It was amazing. Had a great time. I stayed up overnight with, I don't know if she has a FlossTube cooter on a log, Brandy, and her friend, Karen, I think, and Vi, who's she's a regular at Keepsakes. The 4 of us stayed up overnight for literally no reason other than we could. They're like, hey, they're not closing the stitching room like they did at StitchCon. Let's stay up until 4 in the morning. Oh, well, it's already 4. Why don't we stay till 5? Hey, if we stay up till 7, we can get breakfast. Like, that's basically what happened. And it was ridiculous because retreats, you can do whatever you want. There's alcohol involved, and yeah, it was great. So anyway, My rabbit trails are ridiculous. So at Stitch Away, they have a guest designer every year, a featured designer. Last year it was Sue Hillis. This year it was Heart and Hand, Cecilia Turner. So she brought us a thread keep. First off, she gave us a thread keep, and they started off giving this. It was really cool. They were trying to find the person who'd been stitching the least amount of time, and this person who'd been stitching the longest. Well, my roommate slash best friend slash sister was one of the ones who'd been stitching the least time, because she's been stitching for right at about a year. Right about the time I started making floss tubes last year, she started experimenting with stitching. She went to Keepsakes with me the first time I went and was like, I think I could get back into this. So it was about a year ago, a little over a year ago, it was in January last year, that she picked up stitching for the first time. Other than she made one tiny little, you know, the little kids hoops that are like this big that have a little, it had a little owl in it. She said she remembered making one of those in Girl Scouts in elementary school. It's the only other time she'd ever stitched. And she watched me stitching so much, and she watched the friends I'm making from FlossTube and Instagram and all this, and she was like, I think I could try that. So she jumped in like head over heels and started out with Heaven and Earth, and it was a little overwhelming, to say the least. So she stepped back, got a little bit more realistic. She has now had several finishes, and she's thinking about getting a floss tube, starting a floss tube. So I hope she does. And then we will have to do videos together. It'll be super exciting, because I love it when I have other people who are really into the same things I am. She started getting into coasters. She literally never rode roller coasters. I think I rode like 3 with her in our entire life, until about 5 years ago, I got her onto Banshee with me, and she was like, well, I guess I can ride a few things. And now, like, she went on a coaster trip with me. We went to Dollywood together, and she went to a coaster event 2 years ago, and I'm so proud of her. She's becoming a coaster person with me. It's great. Anyway, so back to rabbit trails. Thread keep. On the front of the thread keep, that's a pattern that they gave us. Not only did they give us the pattern, it's a kit. It has all the finishing materials in it. Not just, like, yes, it includes the threads, and they're all hand dyeds, but it includes the finishing materials. How awesome is that? I think that's amazing. I've never stitched a Heart and Hand. They're not at all my style. I would never go out of my way to buy one. I will probably stitch this. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I'm gonna finish it. And I don't know, I might like stick it in my husband's bag or something. Just like hide it somewhere. I don't know. And then the other one that they gave us, this was released at Market, and it's to celebrate 25 years of Cecilia's designing Heart and Hand. There are 25 hearts on it. 25. Somebody counted them. They really are 25 hearts on here. Because this is like, there's a whole little border of them, and there's a bunch of little ones down here and things like that. So, but there are 25 hearts on here. And so this was released at Market. This will be available at your LNS or any place you can order Heart and Hand. However, the other thing that they gave us, this is only available through Keepsakes. So if you love this and you have to have it, which, I mean, that chicken is freaking adorable. Again, this is nothing I would ever stitch usually. And I usually, like, people are like, oh, look at this, it's so adorable and I love these colors. And I'm like, why is that chicken so freaking cute? I don't understand. But anyway, it says the real keepsakes in life are friends. And again, this is a full kit with all the finishing materials. It comes with all, it's color and cotton, floss, and fabric. I've never stitched with color and cotton, so that's kind of exciting. I don't know when I'm gonna start this, but I will be stitching this, even though this is not something I normally would stitch. And I'm stitching it with the frickin' chicken, because the chicken's adorable. My roommate is thinking about changing the chicken from a chicken to a cat, because she loves cats. She may be switching hers out for a cat. I think the chicken's adorable. I don't know why. This is not anything I would ever usually think is cute, but why is that chicken so cute? I don't like chickens. Anyway, so you finish this as a pillow, and then it goes over, this is the frame that they gave us, and it mounts into this so that the chicken wire shows underneath. And that's, this was part of, everybody got one of these. How cool is that? I love keepsakes. Everything about keepsakes, I love them. I can't wait until Stitch Away 2020. They haven't released the information where you can sign up for it yet, but as soon as they do, we're signing up. Because she loved, that was my roommate's first retreat also. That was Deborah's first retreat. So, they had a freebie table, as all good retreats do. Oh, this was handed out, I didn't hear the whole story behind this, but it's needlepoint. This was handed out to anybody that was interested. They only had a limited amount. My grandma does needlepoint, so I went ahead and grabbed this because it's got like a bunch of interesting stitches in it. And I figured even if she doesn't stitch these, the stitch guides, I think she would like that. So I picked one up for her. And then the freebie table. So for 2019, my goal is no new charts. I'm not doing Stitch from Stash because I don't have enough floss for a lot of my projects. I only started collecting hand-dyed flosses over the past year. And so some of the projects that I have, I don't have the floss for, I don't have the hand-dyeds for, I may not have the fabric for, and anything that I'm gonna start that's like a big project, I probably don't have the DMC for. I do have a DMC master. It's not a full set because I have pulled from it. It was at one point a full set. But I do have a DMC master set that I pull from. But I don't always have what I need in there in the amounts that I need in there. Or it might be in a project somewhere and I have to fish it out. So in situations like that, I tend to just go buy it. So I'm not putting myself on a Stitch from Stash that's a strict Stitch from Stash. I'm doing no new charts because I have such a ridiculous chart collection as it is. I don't need to add to it. I am giving myself 2 exceptions for purchasing charts. If somebody gives me something, completely different story. Which Kim, one of my watchers, gave me this because she has heard me talk about how my husband loves wolves. I don't have this kit, and it's a full kit, completely unopened. How amazing. I love it. I love when people give me stuff like this. I love it. So, like, obviously, if somebody gives me something, that doesn't count. Somebody handed me this off the freebie table because, in fact, I think it was Deborah that handed this to me because of a pattern that's in it. Okay, I actually like several in here, but this is why she handed it to me, because there's a carousel horse in it. And then the other thing I got off the freebie table is the music room stocking, and it's just the pattern that has been pulled out of a magazine. I have this pattern. I can't find it. And so I don't count this against my no new charts because I actually have this chart. I just can't find it. So I'm going to take advantage of the fact it was laying there. I've never stitched a stocking. I don't know that I ever will stitch this, but I love it because it's all music stuff and I'm a musician, so. But my 2 exceptions, oh here, kitten number 3, this Oscar. This was the unintentional kitten. This is Hunter's he's the runt. Look at how tiny he is compared to Loki, big old Loki. He's so little. We told him he's not allowed to grow. He's got to stay little and cute and tiny forever because he's so cute and little. He's leaving. Ugh, he's caught in my shirt. There we go. Oh, he's not actually leaving. He's gonna stay right here, I think. No. You can't climb on that. Okay, you're bye. Bye. Anyway, my 2 exceptions, I will get to these, are trunk shows. Because a lot of times, that's the only time you will find some of those patterns. They may be hard to find, they may take a while to order, they may not be available to order. And the other one is if a pattern is going to be removed from sale, or I suspect it's going to be removed. So ones that maybe are questionable on copyright, where I'm like, ooh, that one might get pulled by Etsy. I'll go ahead and get it. because I don't want to miss out on it just because I don't want to buy it this year, because I'll buy it next year, but what if it's not there? So the ones that are like questionable whether they will get pulled for copyright, I will go ahead and buy them. I'm talking about things like where people do like fan arts, and like some companies are like way more forgiving on fan art than others. Like Harry Potter, they tend to be really forgiving on fan art. Disney's not. So if I see like a really cool Disney fan art that I'm like, oh, that one might be questionable. Like Mandarinx Designs. I love Mandarinx Designs. They do a lot of really, really gorgeous Disney things, and I'm waiting for Etsy to pull some of their patterns, because some of them are, I mean, they're fan art, but they're the characters. And so like I've been buying the ones that I want from there that are Disney because I fear them being pulled. So I did buy 2 charts at the trunk show. And they don't have mock-ups. They're from Open Road Abode Needleworks, which if you've seen any of their patterns, they do the cute little trailers. They're the little trailers. So I bought the Great Smoky Mountains, and that's kind of a mock-up of what it looks like. They're on postcards. They're on little postcards. So that's the Great Smoky Mountains. And then I also bought Badlands. And the reason I bought Badlands is because my brother and sister-in-law, that's what their RV looks like, is that. But they go to the Smokies all the time. So I'm going to take that RV and put it in that pattern instead. So that's the only things I bought pattern-wise from the trunk show. I've been sticking to my no new charts really well. I keep getting tempted. People keep releasing new charts. They're so pretty. I'm not buying them. I don't need them. I've got so much to pick from. I have so many things I want to stitch on. So many things I want to start. I don't need them. Shh, stop. No more buying. But before I went on no new charts, I did buy some things at the end of 2019 since my last video. I will get to those when I get to my pile of things that I have bought that are not charts. So we have almost finished with Stitch Away. So since it was my first time at Stitch Away, I got to do the newcomer's tea that Barbara does. And she always gives a gift at newcomer's tea. This year we got Ort jars. Aren't those pretty? And then they had a tape measure in them too. Like it was a little pocket tape measure, which mine is now in my purse, so it's not in here. But there's my Ort jar with my Orts in it because I was using it at Stitch Away. Because I never bring an Ort jar. I always steal somebody else's. Like when I'm sitting at Keepsake stitching on a Friday, I'm like, who's got an Ort jar? Boop. I just put my Orts in their jar. So if you're a stitcher at Keepsakes on a regular basis and you're like, where did this thread come from? I don't have this thread color. Yeah, that's me. I'm throwing Orts in your jar. That's what I do. And then she also does a make and take on Sunday morning before we leave. And so we did these little pin cushions with a little ribbon and a little made with love tag. And then there was optional, you could put lavender in it. I'm extremely allergic to lavender, so I did not put lavender in mine, and I had to leave the room quite quickly because it was getting hard to breathe. So no lavender for me. This is a new change since you guys last saw me. I used to drink a lot of apple juice when I was filming. Apple juice has a lot of sugar in it. I'm trying to do, so last March, sorry, it was Lent. It was for Lent. So it was like February into March. I gave up pop. In particular, I started with Mountain Dew because I was really severely addicted to Mountain Dew. So I started with no Mountain Dew, and I went no Mountain Dew for a week. And then I went from no Mountain Dew to no pop. Then I was allowing myself diet, but not regular. And then over the last 6 months, I've been trying to go no sugared drinks. So I've been cutting back on how much juice I drink. And so Coke Zero is my jam now. This is Kings Island's fault. Because like right after I gave up pop, I got hired by Kings Island. And in orientation, they were like, by the way, starting this year, free drinks in the employee cafeteria. And I was like, really? I gave up pop. What am I gonna drink? And so like my first day at Kings Island, I was like, well, I'm gonna try Coke Zero because I've heard that it's not, like, I don't like Diet Coke. And I was like, well, I'll try Coke Zero because I've heard that it's not bad. And I fell in love with it. I don't know why I love Coke Zero so much, but I absolutely fell in love with it. So I drink a lot of Coke Zero now. And it keeps me from drinking sugary drinks, so I can't complain about too much. Yes, I know diet drinks, you know, there's health issues with them too. I have had conversations with my doctor about it, and she's like, it's better than drinking the sugar. Diabetes runs in my family. Quit drinking the sugar. Please drink all the diet pop you want instead of the sugar. I'm gonna drink my Coke Zero. I'm really good about, like, when I go out someplace, if they don't have Coke Zero, which I'm getting to the point where I know exactly which restaurants have it, which ones don't, because I'm like, Longhorn has Coke Zero. Frisch's has Coke Zero. Wendy's has Coke Zero. McDonald's does not have Coke Zero. So, like, I know who has Coke Zero and who doesn't. And I'm getting really good, though, about getting a diet instead of, if they don't have Coke Zero, I will go ahead and get a Diet Coke. I can tolerate it from the fountain. But I have maybe one regular pop a month at this point. I've completely cut it, and I'm extremely proud of myself, considering how addicted I was to it. So the fact that I have gone from 3 and 4 Mountain Dews a day to maybe 1 a month. Now I do drink 3 and 4 Coke Zeros a day, but there's no sugar and no calories. Drink up my hearties, yo-ho. So anyway, I'm gonna talk about what I've been working on, because I have like a stack of stuff over here. I don't even know how long I've been recording for, like an hour. My camera's gonna die. People are gonna come home. I don't have time, like, I haven't had time to sit down, like, after the whole traveling chaos, and then the working chaos, and then the being sick chaos. The other issue is I'm never home alone. We have an uninvited house guest. We told him he could stay with us for a little while. It's turned into 3.5 months, and we finally were like, it's time to go, dude. Like, I understand you're having problems at home, and we were letting you stay here while those got resolved. 3.5 months is a little excessive. This house isn't big enough for 4 adults, so he does not understand FlossTube at all. I don't even think he knows it exists. So I'm not trying to explain it to him so that I can do my videos in peace. So he's at work, roommate's at work, husband's at work, I'm home. And I was like, when my roommate left this morning, I was like, I can record a video today. The first day that I have not been so sick I can't breathe and home alone in 2 months. Oh, anyway. So I'm going to start with the whips that I've barely touched. So the first one is Haunted Mansion, which I haven't touched since England. This went to England with me. I did not do much stitching on the international flight. I don't know why. Oh, my nose itches. I don't know why I ended up not doing any stitching on the international flight. I did stitch on this on the plane to and from Chicago, but on the flight to and from London, I watched a movie. No, I take that back. I lied. I worked on Cries in the Night because I took 3 projects with me. Here's where it is. Let me insert a picture of where it was. And now here's where it is. So since my last video, last time I just had this column and the bottom half of one of these. I don't remember which side it was, the bottom half of this. So I've added, all these columns are finished. These got done on the plane. This center section got done on the plane. The cauldron, the fireplace, Frankenstein's shoes, and a little bitty mouse. And then the outline of this mirror has been done. I'm going to be doing some modifications to this. I'm going to be putting in some Krynics and some glow-in-the-darks and things like this. But this hasn't been touched since England, pretty much. I think I maybe worked on it one time. So I'm not loving this. My sister-in-law started this the same, I think 2 weeks after I did. Hers has been done for 2 months. I'm not loving stitching on this, unfortunately. I'm not sure why. It's just not, it didn't pull me in. I am going to be doing some work on that. I'll explain why later. Other one is my chatelaine. My chatelaine has had very limited progress since you last saw it because it is no longer my focus piece. I will show you my focus piece here in a little bit. There's my chatelaine. I filled in kind of this hole that was here. That's all I've done. That's all that's been done since last time. I think I maybe put 2 or 3 more rows of blue. That's it. I am doing the Stitch 9 challenge, Farm Girl Stitch 9 challenge. This is one of my Stitch 9 pieces. My goal is to finish the center motif this year. So that's not going to continue to get ignored. It's waiting until my focus piece gets finished, and then it's going to be my focus piece again. Let's see. I'm going to pull out something else you've seen progress on. This is going to require the paper behind it. Prize of the night. Look at that. I just had this little tiny piece, like maybe 500 stitches put in it up here in the corner. All of the 939 is now finished, and I'm moving on to the second color in this page. I'm going to show you the pattern. This page that I'm working on is this corner up here, and it comes down into the moon. It's about that, because it's a mini, it's about that, is page 1. So I'm down into the corona around the moon at this point. Candace, get off the counter. So, that's about 1,500 stitches, huh? Not too bad. What else do I have that I can show you? George has had some progress. George is about to finish page 4. Looky there. Still terrible on the lighting. You cannot see it at all. There we go. There we go. You can see a little bit. So I've got about 300 stitches to finish page 4. I'm 16 pages behind. I should be finishing... No, I'm 15 pages behind. I should be finishing page 19 right now and getting ready to start page 20. I should be finishing page 20 on February 22nd. That's the 1 year mark. 1/5 of the way through our deadline. The good news is everyone is behind. I think one person is even close to being caught up. Most of us are about right here. Some people are about like 6 or 8. Some people just finished page 1. I don't feel bad at all. I have no guilt. No guilt about my position. Like, it wasn't until somebody posted about being super far behind, and then everybody was like, I'm on page 1, I'm on page 2, and then I finished 3 pages in like 2 weeks, and I was like, okay, this isn't that big a deal. I don't need to stress over it. Look at my little American flag needle minder. It's cute. I made a bunch of these and I took them to England with me for the Stitchers in Liverpool. I always get happy when Stitch M shows on, I think it's her Jessie project, that she has the needle minder I made on. It always makes me happy, and I'm like, ah, I made that. And it's overseas now. Let's see. So during Stitch Away, I worked exclusively on one project, and it was my Heaven and Earth. A lot of people had never seen a Heaven and Earth in person, and they were just blown away by it. And that was half the fun of working on it, honestly, because all the oogling. So I got 5,000 stitches in on this piece during Stitch Away. I then came home, finished the page, and did a little bit more. I have done 6,650 stitches on this piece just this year. Look at it. Holy cow. So at Stitch Away, I did all of this curly Q here, all of this stripe, most of this brown one, and most of this curly Q here. All of this along in here has been filled in since Stitch Away, and now I just need to fill in right here. 6,000 stitches, guys. I'm proud of myself on that. Look at my needle minder. I gotta pull it off here so you guys can appreciate this. My friend Tiffany got me this. Tiffany's a regular at Keepsakes, and she always gives me the coolest needle minders. And she's a Disney girl too, so she gets me. It's a Mickey head with the Haunted Mansion wallpaper on it. Isn't that neat? I love it. The needle minder that's on my chatelaine that's Rapunzel is also from Tiffany. She gets me. Alright. So that's Wisdom, by the way. I probably should have mentioned that. That is the Ravenclaw crest. Wisdom, artwork by Shira Gerhardt from Mystic Moon Media, charted by Heaven and Earth. I am stitching that 2/1 full cross on 25 count magic guide. Loki's trying to come visit me. So it is a pre-gridded fabric. I got asked a lot about that at Stitch Away. Everyone wanted to know what was with this gridded fabric, and they were fascinated by the fact that it came that way. It is super thick coverage. Let me get up close so you can see how perfect that coverage is on these dark colors. There's no show through. None at all. That's why I'm stitching it 2/1. I'm very picky about my coverage. So the 2/1 on this is just gorgeous. It's thick. It has the feel of a tapestry. Like everybody was like, they wanted to feel it because they were like, that looks so thick. And I'm like, it is. It feels like a tapestry, but the coverage is gorgeous and I love it. It's sometimes hard to get the needle through, especially in the heavy confetti. There's my back, by the way, if you're curious. That is a super messy back for me. I'm trying to break my fear of carrying threads on this piece because I don't need to worry about it because it's a full coverage and you're never going to see it. I still worry carrying them too far because I'm always afraid of like something snagging on the back of it and pulling it. And that's the only reason I don't carry them super, super far. But I will carry them 10 stitches now. And sometimes even 15. I haven't gotten brave enough to do like more than 20. Okay, next piece. I did Cries of the Night. Yeah, it's right here. I have 2 new starts and a restart. So I'll start with the restart. The restart is Steph X Stitch Field of Fucks. I started this during StitchCon, and I started it when there was a group of us that were sitting in the lobby stitching at like 3 in the morning after the stitching room closed. I had the colors flipped and it was gonna look weird. So, and the variegation in the color that I used for the words, there's like almost no variegation in it. And I'm like, the whole point in me changing this from DMC to hand dyeds is I wanted the variegation to come through in the words. So it went in timeout. It went in timeout for 6 months. 2 nights ago, I finally pulled it out because I needed it for a challenge that I was in. And ripped out about 500 stitches of the wrong color. That wasn't exciting, but I restarted it. I am now 1,100 stitches into it. Yeah, 1,100. I need to do 1,200 for the challenge I'm in. Look at that. That's 2 days. 2 days. So I made my tree too fat. I counted wrong. I put a gap in it. That's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be 3 stitches wide. It's 4. Whatevs. All you gotta do is the field, the green of the tree, and the border. And that's it. So this is gonna be a finish. This is not on my stitch 9. Cries of the Night is on my stitch 9. I wanted to finish 1 page. Wisdom is on stitch 9. I wanted to finish 1 page. That one is complete. That's one of 2 that I have complete. Stitching George Washington was on my stitch 9. I wanted to finish 2 pages. I have finished 2 pages. I'm about to finish a 3rd. So that's complete. So I have 2 of my 9 finished. This is not on my stitch 9. I haven't started one of my stitch 9. So I'm starting that after I finish this. It's my poop. I showed that one several videos ago. The Have a Nice Poop. That's on my stitch 9. So this is a new start that is on my stitch 9. I have 3 new starts. Just kidding. 3 new starts. This is Halloweenies by Plum Street Samplers. This was given to me. I posted my stitchy wish list on Instagram. And one of the things that was on it was Halloweenies because I want to stitch it for my sister-in-law. I stitched, well now I've got to like scroll way down. Hi. Hello. Hello. There's a candy in my way again. Laura4448 is who sent this to me on Instagram. I had to look up the message from her asking for my address. Anyway, so I wanted to stitch this for my sister-in-law. I'm really hoping she never finds my YouTube channel because she found my Instagram and I had posted a picture of this in my stitch 9 and I'm like, I hope to God she doesn't realize that's for her. It was supposed to be a surprise. So anyway, so I started this. That's how far I've got. Got the little Halloween, got the little weenie head and the start of the vine with the pumpkin. It's in the middle. It's like 200-ish stitches in it. I'm using mostly the called for colors, and it's 2/1 on 36 count Vintage Country Mocha. Yes, 2/1. Because it equates out to 18 count Aida when you stitch it over 2. Or not over 2, wow, 2/2. 2/2. When you stitch it over 2, it equates out to 18 count Aida. You stitch 18 count Aida with 2. I couldn't believe how many people were like, oh, just use 1 strand. I'm like, the coverage looks like garbage with 1. So no, I'm stitching it with 2. So, there it is. His head is in, I think, Nutmeg. I want to say it's Nutmeg. Classic Colorworks. There's a bunch of Classic Colorworks and gas threads. First time using any of those. This one is in Weeks Dye Works. So, first time using Classic Colorworks. I love its coverage. I love it. I'm really loving how that stitches. Another new start is, this was a Christmas gift for my brother-in-law and his wife, who this is for. Realist Carousel. This is my first Realist kit. I think that is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I could not wait to start on this. I did this as my New Year, New Start. You guys can probably tell the lighting is changing. It's getting grayer and grayer and grayer and crappier and crappier and crappier outside. So anyway, so I did this as my New Year, New Start. This is what I was stitching on during with my Stitch With Me live a couple weeks ago. I didn't get very much done during that, but now I have quite a bit done. Look at that. This is on my Stitch 9 challenge. My goal is to get halfway finished. I think that'll be easy. This stitches really fast. Really fast. This kit came with yarn, with wool yarn, acrylic wool yarn. It says acrylic/wool yarn instead of floss, which is really interesting. It's different to stitch with. It covers really, really nicely. It has like beautiful coverage. It's a light blue Zweigart Aida, 18 count Aida. Sorry, it's 14 count Aida. But the wool is thick enough that the coverage on it's beautiful, and I love it. And it's interesting to stitch with. It's different. It's very different from anything I've done. And then my last start, this was also a gift from someone who wishes to remain anonymous. In my Stitchy wish list. No, it was the one a while ago. There were 2 different ones that were posted. There was this Get Your Stitchy Wish Granted that came out around Christmas. That's when I got Halloweenies. And then earlier in the year, in September-ish, was Michelle Bendy's Stitchy Wish List. And I posted, I think, 8 charts in my Stitchy Wish List. And one of those was Lady of the Flag. I'm like, yeah, right, nobody's gonna give me Lady of the Flag. Someone did. Not naming names, but she did. It is a well-loved copy. It does not have an envelope. It has been marked. I had a friend send me scans of her copy so that I could make out, there were some parts where the marking was so thick I couldn't make out the symbols. And so I've got kind of like, I'm working off of like I'm working off copies of the actual chart I have. I'm working off copies from somebody else's chart that they have. You know, it's my copies are kind of everywhere. Like I said, it's a very well-loved copy. It is already promised. I cannot sell it. I cannot give it to somebody else. It is already promised to somebody. I'm sorry. I've had several people message me on Instagram and Facebook asking me if I can have it when I'm done with it. It is already promised. I'm sorry. But I got her just in time to start her on September 11th. I went through my stash for fabric because I wanted to stitch her on something I already had. I didn't want to, I knew I had all those hand dyes that I bought back at StitchCon, and I was like, I want to see if I have something that will work for her. So she's being stitched on 32 count Avalon by Under the Sea. I'm going to unscroll her a little bit because she is scrolled up into the frame. I am beading as I go, and she is just under halfway finished. I started her on September 11th as part of the Lady Liberty 2018 SAL. I can't stop stitching on her. I can't stop stitching on her. I love her. I love her. She's my first Mara, and I just love her. So here she is. Look at her. Oh, she's gorgeous. And there's where I am too. It's right there in the bottom. Like I said, she's about half finished. All of the beads in her crown, in her torch, and the flag, those are all finished. The beads up here in the top of her sleeve are finished. I'm getting to the point where I'm gonna have to start beading in her dress. I do have all of the beads. I did order all of the beads. I can't get over the fact that somebody actually gave me her. And I'm actually stitching her. And she's so beautiful. And I'm so proud of her. She is my focus piece. She's definitely my focus piece. And she is on my Stitch 9 challenge. I want to finish her. I was hoping to have her finished at the 6-month mark. I don't know that that's going to happen. It's going to be close, I think, at the rate that I'm going. I don't know that she will be finished at 6 months, but she will be finished by this summer. And my goal is to put her in the county fair this year, because I'm very proud of her. She is stitching it beautifully. I think my stitches look amazing. My beads look perfect. It's my first time doing a big project with beads. It's good practice for my chatelaine. And like I said, I'm beading as I go. And I'm actually using this as an opportunity to scroll her up a little further, because I've got my quilt batting lined up. But she is just under halfway finished. I'm mostly done with the top page and have done maybe 10 stitches on page 2. On the bottom page, because the chart is in 2 pages. I take her, she travels with me. She went to England with me. She's what I worked on while I was in Liverpool, stitching with Stitch M. Didn't work much on her, but she went to Chicago with me. She went to Canada with me. She's a well-traveled little girl. Well-traveled lady. Uh-oh. I just knocked my magnet off my needle minder. Not good. Rogue magnet on the floor. It's alright. I'll pick it up here in a second. Because I knocked all of my needles off too. Because I didn't realize my needle minder was up like in the fabric where I was rolling it up in the scroll frame. Whoops. That's alright. So again, this fabric is Avalon by Under the Sea Fabrics. It is gorgeous. I picked this up at StitchCon. It's a 32 count linen, opalescent linen. I'm really glad I'm doing her in the opalescent. The sparkle kind of shows through on her dress because the coverage isn't like completely perfect, because it's it's the equivalent of a 16 count. I'm doing it with 2. So the coverage isn't like completely perfect like I would prefer it, but what shows through is not the color, it's the sparkle. So, and she is again, now that she's all rolled up, you can see the color changes in her. Where her torch sits, you can kind of see is kind of yellowy. It looks brighter blue. It's coming through brighter blue than it is. This is actually a very pastel color. Like, these are all very pastels. But where her torch is, it goes into kind of like a yellowy color, so it looks like the torch is shining onto the fabric. It's very cool. I placed it that way. I picked where I wanted the torch and then counted down to where her face was. I did do her skin 1/1. You can see it there. I also am backstitching as I go, so that's Lady of the Flag. That is all of my whips. I'm gonna pick up that magnet before it gets lost, or one of the kittens steals it. More likely one of the kittens would steal it. They see things on the ground and they're automatically theirs. So those are all my whips. I do have 2 finishes to show you. Well, one's a finish, one's an FFO. First finish, last time I showed it to you, I mentioned that I was doing this as a secret project for my roommate. In that video I also mentioned a particular pattern that I wanted that was in a magazine. I was talking about the Edgar Allan Poe, I think it's called the Edgar Allan Poe Sampler is the official name of it. And it was in the cross stitch, I don't remember what, Just Cross Stitch maybe? Just Cross Stitch 2013 Halloween edition. Well, and then mysteriously, my roommate comes home with a DVD that she got from Amazon. And it's the Just Cross Stitch Halloween Editions collection. And I think it was like 2012 to 2017, all on a DVD. And I was like, how did you know I needed that? And she's like, well, you know how I never watch FlossTube? Like, you watched my last video, didn't you? She's like, yeah. So my secret project that I got almost all the way finished in secret was not a secret. However, I did finish it in time for Christmas. It was a Christmas present. So this is Enchanted Tiki Room by Barbie's Pedal Pusher. It is stitched on 28 count Lugana in Lazy River. I am almost positive this is a Witchell fabric. Almost positive. It needs ironed, but there it is. Ta-da! Isn't he cute? He's cute. It's all the called for DMCs. Nothing fancy. It's cute. We haven't taken it to go get framed, obviously. Then I got 2 pieces framed that I was originally going to frame myself. I just didn't have the patience to or the time. So we did get them framed professionally. I showed these both as finishes. One of them has already been gifted. So I'm going to have to insert a picture of it. And that is the Farmall tractor from Pucker Brush Designs that I made for my brother-in-law. I gave it to him for Christmas. So here is what it looked like framed. And gave it to him for Christmas. He loved it. Awesome. The other one was the Friday the 13th piece that I was going to frame myself. I decided to get it framed also. There it is. That's obviously not a glare-free glass. This is a pre-made frame. It's got the little prop stand on it. This is a pre-made frame that it fit perfectly in, and it looks kind of like birch bark. And I like it. No mats or anything, nothing fancy. This is for my friend Jason. I don't know when I'm gonna see him. I was hoping to give it to him for Christmas, and then I didn't get a chance to see him before Christmas, so not sure when he's gonna get that, but he saw the finished, unframed version. I showed it to him when he was up here in October. Those are my FOs and FFOs. Now onto the pile of crap I bought. I already showed you, or I told you, I don't know if I actually showed you. This is the Edgar Allan Poe sampler. I saw this on the finish table at StitchCon. Turned out it was Christine from Every Stitch of Pleasure that finished it. She gave me information on where to find it. The other one that I started, this is 100% Lolly's Fault from Lollipop Stitchers. She shared a picture of this and I bought it within 5 minutes. It is Good Morning Maui, Stretch Room Portraits. I'm obsessed with Lily and Gracie. For Halloween this year, for the Halloween party, the 4 of us went as Haunted Mansion characters. I was Lily and Gracie. My sister-in-law was the, what did we decide her name was? She's got a name. I can't remember what it is though. But this lady, the homicidal lady that's sitting on the tombstone. My roommate was the homicidal bride, Constance, and Dustin was Master Gracie. And we looked awesome. Like, we looked awesome, and our pictures in front of Haunted Mansion are awesome. In fact, I'm pretty sure I can find those pretty quickly. I'm gonna try. But most people don't realize that Tightrope Girl does have a name. That's her right there. Like I said, she's my favorite. I'm obsessed with her. That is Lillian Gracie. And she is the daughter of Master Gracie, the daughter of the mansion. And when I was dressed as her, which here's a picture of me dressed as Lillian Gracie. Come on, focus. There we go. That's me dressed as Lillian Gracie with my umbrella and everything. And all of the cast members who know, they know their ride, they know their story, they know their secrets. All of the cast members graded me as Miss Gracie. Good evening, Miss Gracie. I can't find the picture of the four of us, but here's me and Deborah. She's dressed as the homicidal bride. It's, why, I don't know, it's not focusing. Let me get my face out of the picture. There he goes. That's us on Main Street. But she was the homicidal bride. People loved our costumes. We got a lot of compliments on them. We ended up going back in October. And I dressed as a pirate. I make an awesome pirate, if I do say so myself. I mean, look at me. I make an awesome pirate. And then Deborah dressed as, she had a dress that had the constellations on it. She was the stars by which I navigate. People loved it. I make an awesome pirate, just saying. Anyway, so those are the only patterns I have bought since I last saw you, besides the two little ones that I got at Stitch Away. I'm proud of myself. Very proud of myself. Okay. Last but not least, and then I'm going to talk about magical stitches if my battery's going to hold out. I don't know. I had an hour and 24 minutes on my memory card and an hour and 25 minutes on my battery, but my battery has only gone down by a third, and I know I have been talking for an hour. So I'm hoping my memory card holds out at this point, not my battery. So, Color and Cotton had a trunk show at Stitch Away. It was late. It arrived late. It arrived on like the second day of the trunk show. And when they let us in, it was like mad chaos. Women grabbing everywhere. There was fabric like literally flying, like people grabbing handfuls, and like, so it started out with like everybody went in, like dove in and just grabbed a handful. And it was like, you went through it and you pulled out what you wanted, and then you were like, I've got 28 count. Who needs 28 count? I've got 32. I've got 36. And like, it just got passed around in this big like mass of people until everybody had touched everything and pulled out what they wanted. And then it was down to like a third of what it was. So this is what we got between me and Deborah. So I'll go by in between each of them. This is 28 count Jobelin in Lima. And that is a very sea green teal. I don't know how well these colors are going to come out. I'm going to hold up something white to try to get my camera to white balance. There it goes. All right, we should get true to life colors now. So there's the Lima. Pretty close. It's coming out more blue. This is 40 count Newcastle Linen Cantaloupe. And that is coming out way more red than it is. It's like Halloween orange. But it's got beautiful modeling in it. Beautiful modeling. These are all 1/4 yards. Yeah, these are 1/8 yards. They had 1/8 and quarters. This is 32 count Belfast Linen in Royal Purple. Coming out more blue also. It's coming out, all these are coming out more blue and more red. I don't know. There, that's the color. That's what color it is. Okay. This is 40 count Newcastle Linen in Patina. It's like a blue, green, and bronze color. It reminds me of old metal. It's like old copper is what it looks like. It's really pretty. This is 32 count Belfast Opalescent Linen in Bahama Blue. That's coming out pretty true to color right there. It's sparkly. And these are 1/4 yards. This is 36 count Edinburgh Linen in Hearth. Oh, that's very true to color right there. It's almost a purpley gray. Beautiful modeling in it. And 28 count Jobelin in Irish Green. And that is very much more blue on camera than it actually is. It's jade green. So that was what we got from Color and Cotton. And they also had the big buckets of material from Keepsakes, which we went through and pulled out what we wanted. These are not marked with what they are, for the most part. The only one that is this, and this is Tulip Sunrise. I think we didn't even get this at Stitch Away. I think we got this after Stitch Away. 32 count Tulip Sunrise from Picture This Plus. Orange and pink. No, we definitely got this because I remember Joe holding it up and us picking which side we wanted. No idea what this is. It's a green. It's like a Kelly green. If you guys know what any of these are. This still has its tag on it. 32 count Lugana in Hamlet from Under the Sea. It's a fat quarter of it. So some of them still have their Under the Sea tags on them. Thank you, Leslie, for your tags on all four corners. They're wonderful. This is 32 count Marauders Map. 32 count linen Marauders Map. Under the Sea. This is, I think, also Tulip Sunrise. I'm not sure. Not sure. This is Sugar Plum Fairy, 28 count Opalescent Lugana. And this is something that they've got a full half yard of, but what they have now is a lighter color and I wanted the darker, and I think this darker is so pretty. The pinks and purples. But the newer dyes are not as dark. Pretty sure this is a picture of this plus. Not marked. Oh, here it is. No, this is hand dyed by Stephanie. 28 count opal linen in Aloha. That looks super tropical. I love it. It makes me think of rainbow sherbet ice cream. It's got all the right colors with pink and yellow and green. It's yummy. And then these are non-stitch away fabric purchases. These are ones that we have just picked up at keepsakes along the way. This has been mostly just adding to our stash so that we have like no neutrals. Everything we had was like the vibrant colors because that's what draws our eye in the bucket. So we were trying to add to our stash of neutrals. So this is 28 count Jobelin in Queen Anne's Lace by Witchell. And it's kind of a green. It doesn't show up as green on the camera, but it is actually like a very, very pale mint green. This is 28 count Jobelin in Morning Dew. I don't know who this is by. It feels like an Under the Sea. That's not much to go on, but it feels like an Under the Sea. That's coming out way more blue than it is. It's also like a mint green. 28 count Jobelin in Summer Skies. You guys have all seen Summer Skies. Probably. This is 28 count Cashel Linen in Crystal Helix. Picture this plus. It's not blue, it's actually gray. It's very gray. It's opalescent. That's screaming to have some, that looks like a sky. It's like a stormy sky. Like a winter sky. Under the Sea Calypso K. This is a 28 count linen. Opalescent. That's gorgeous. Blue-green. That's pretty true to color. Um, 28 count Jobelin in Caribbean Blue. Pretty sure this is a Witchell. It's coming out way more blue. It's a teal. It's a very, like a straight teal color. 28 count Jobelin Twilight Mist. This is also a Witchell. And this is very gray. That's coming out fairly true. It's coming out a little bit more blue than it is. It is very gray. Very just a straight gray. 28 count Lucana and Mushroom. Just a very, very nice neutral. We don't have any solid neutrals. This is, so Halloweenies is on Vintage Country Mocha. I don't know if I mentioned that. I think I did. 36 count Vintage Country Mocha. It's my first time ever stitching on it. Everybody talks about it. I didn't realize it was a printed fabric. The modeling's only on one side. It kind of boggled my mind. 28 count Cashmere in Country French. That's Stephanie's ridiculously neat handwriting. She has really pretty handwriting. And then this is 28 count Jobelin in Sandcastle. This is an Under the Sea, I believe. No, there's no way that's an Under the Sea. It's not searched. So there's all my fabrics. Ta-da! So, with the remaining memory card that I have left, I want to talk to you about some of the things that I'm in. This is 110% Sammy J. Stitch's fault. 110%. Because she's in all the things. And Jessie is now starting to be in all the things. And now Michelle Bendy is in all the things. And now I'm in all the things. I never thought I was going to be one of those people that was in all the things. So I am wearing a Ravenclaw shirt for a reason. If you have not heard of the School of Magical Stitches and Literature, what rock are you living under? Are you even on FlossTube? I don't know. Anyway, so the School of Magical Stitches and Literature, I am in it. I was in the original group of 10 Ravenclaws, so I am one of the first Ravenclaws. And I have been diligently working hard in trying to get all of my homeworks and extra credits done. The only thing I fell shy on in January was 2 of the books. I just ran out of time to read because I was sick. And there were days where I just didn't want to read or stitch or do anything. So it's a miracle I got all of the stitching, including all the extra credit, done. I missed the first half week of February stitching because I was sick. So I'm trying to make up for it by making all of the homeworks, or all of the reading this year. They have it divided by year. So we read the first book in January, that was year 1. So now we're reading the second book, we're in year 2. So in year 2, I missed week 1 homework. And I'm trying to do the reading for year 2. Y'all, I went to the library for the first time in probably 10 years. And I checked out a stack of books this big. And it is 100% this group's fault. I have read more in the last 6 weeks than I read all of last year. I started a Goodreads account. You can find me on there. Pretty sure I'm Viola Cat 03. Viola, VIOLAKAT 03. If you want to find me on there. My goal is to read 100 books this year. I am on track to do so based on how many I've read each week. All of the homeworks are why I have touched all of these projects that you see. I never touched this many projects in a month and a half, and I have touched all of these projects because of the challenges. I'm trying to finish this one because I needed 1,200 in it because of 2 different challenges I'm in. One of them is Semi-Stained Stitchers, one of them is School of Magical Stitches and Literature. So it ends up needing me 1,200 total. So if you haven't joined School of Magical Stitches, if you are at all interested in Harry Potter, if you like stitching challenges, go join it. It's on Facebook. Just Google it or search School of Magical Stitches and Literature. The other group I'm in is Semi-Sane Stitchers, which is where bingo comes from. If you've seen Jessie or Sammy doing bingo, it's where that comes from. I am not doing bingo. I did not join the Stitcher games yet. I might be. I haven't decided. But I am doing some of the other ones. I'm working on Lady of the Flag for the February challenge, the Country Fair February challenge. This is the Subversive challenge, which I needed to... I'm almost done with the Subversive challenge. And they also have a year-long thing that is Stitch the Solar System. And you're trying to stitch the diameter of each of the planets and dwarf planets. And so I decided to start with my favorite planet first, which is Saturn. And I am about 1/5 of the way around Saturn right now. It's 74,000 stitches that I need, and I'm at like 15. So, the School of Magical Stitches homework this week is going to pull out Haunted Mansion Style for the first time since October, because I need to stitch on something that has a cat in it. It's got a cat in it. It's got a black cat in it. And I need to stitch on something with a ghost in it. It's got lots of ghosts in it. So that's going to get my... the other one for this week was 200 stitches on something that you have changed. So this week's thing is we're using the Polyjuice Potion. And so you need something that... since the Polyjuice Potion changes you, this is my something that changes because I changed all the DMCs out for hand-dyes. And then one of them is I forget why the ghost is in there. And then Hermione obviously changed into a cat when she drank the Polyjuice Potion. Well, partially changed into a cat. And so that's why the cat is in there. And then for the monthly homework, I have all of it done except watching the movie, which I have promised my roommate I will do with her because I didn't do it with her last week. Last month. I got tired of waiting for a time that we could sit down and do it together. And so on literally January 31st at like 10 o'clock and I think it was 9 o'clock at night, I started the movie. Because it's like a 2-hour long movie. And I was like, yeah, need to get this in. So I gave up and just did it without her. So I promised her I would do it with her this time. George has gotten 1,500 stitches done on him this month because of that challenge, because of those challenges. And then there's also the year-long challenges, which are all 1,000 stitches each, and that's where 1,000 on this is coming from. 1,000 went into George, 1,000 are going into Lady of the Flag. So they have kept me so busy with stitching. I've done so much stitching because of these two groups. I know that's going to fall off as the summer comes around and I'm working all the time and I don't have time to constantly be stitching in these groups. I'm going to have to just like let go of some of these and not be the person who turns in every single homework every single time early and things like that. You know, I'm not going to be able to maintain this pace over the summer. And that's okay because there's no punishment for not participating. You don't lose points for not participating. You just don't get the points. So you're not hurting your house or anything like that. So that's what I've been doing. My camera is going to die soon, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off. This is going to be a super long video. Big surprise, it's been 6 months since I did a video. I'm not making any promises on when I'm doing my next one. I'm way too busy. And the whole having to be at home by myself thing, because I don't know, I can't record videos when there are people around. I don't know, I just can't. So I'm not making any promises. You are more likely to see a stitch with me than a full FlossTube video, but I'm going to do my best to come back in a month and show you guys some more progress. It may be a month, maybe a week, who knows, it may be 6 months. But here is my triumphant return after 6 months. I didn't fall off the planet. I do still exist. I am still making FlossTube videos. I am still extremely looking forward to StitchCon. I do watch a lot of you guys